Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Captain Clyde's MTG, and boy, do we got some doozies for you today. It's the last day of the Pro Tour for Philadelphia, and they made tons of announcements and spoiler leaks for March of the Machines, even an aftermath. A card that's going to be in March of the Machines from the World Circuit, along with what we can expect in March of the Machines, and it is insane. So we've got a lot to go over, so we're gonna have to get into it. So subscribe real quick till I get to 1,000 peeps, and we're gonna start marching along. So what we're gonna start off with is the Fairy Mastermind. So this is Yuta Takahashi. He won Worlds this year. He got the design a card. This is the card he designed. Blue and one for a 2/1 flash flyer that whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you get to draw a card. And for a blue and three, each player draws a card. This seems extremely good. Not only could this be good in things like modern and even standard, because everybody likes to draw extra cards, right? Not only will it be good there, but it's going to be an amazing commander card for when people start trying to draw 2 or 3 cards a turn, because you get to draw cards every time they do. I think this will be a commander staple and will probably find its way into several other formats as well, especially modern. You know, it's 2 mana, it's cheap, it could be a thing, and it looks really sweet. So that's the card. We got the basic layout here. You see the March of the Machines is apparently a sword inside of kind of a circle looking like. So this is the card we got from the World Tour, the World Championship winner. Next, let's go into the rest of the March. So we'll start off with a basic common card. We have, this is going to be the land cycle that's going to be in there as far as commons. Swiftwater Cliffs, Dismal Blackwater. These have been reprinted tons of times. This will help with the mana fixing playing the format because there is going to be a lot of multicolor in this format as we get into it, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. So we got all these. First, we have Moment of Truth. Blue and one instant common. Look at top 3 cards of your library. One into your hand, one into the graveyard, one on the bottom of the library. Seems really good. It's a good way to search that doesn't lock the top of your library once you use it. So it seems like a really good card. Now we get into the good stuff. First we have, that's right, Omnath is back. Locus of All this time. He is a 5-color guy, and his black mana can be played with Phyrexian mana, so he could technically be a 4-mana Omnath again at 4/4, which could be devastating to the format. You can see that these are going to be the 3 different types of bordering that we have. We're going to have our basic card, our full art, and then our special card bordering, which because we're going to multiple planes, because March of the Machines is about how the world tree, or realm breaker as they call it, check lore videos, when it opens up so that Phyrexians can go to every realm, they literally go to every realm. So depending on what the card is and where it's from, the booster fun slot that had this extra art will be different for every one of those cards. So every card won't look like this. It will depend where that card is from. But as we talked about this, 5 colors, if you lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. So at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card if it has 3 or more color mana symbols in the mana cost. If you do, add 3 mana in any combination of its colors and put it into your hand. If you don't reveal it, put it into your hand. This is just an insane card. It's got draw power. It's going to let you cast basically stuff for free because you're going to get the mana from the card to cast it. So if you're playing 3 mana spells that are all multicolor, you're just going to get it. It's going to be insane. This card is insane. I'm surprised it's not a mythic. And if this is what mythics look like, I'm going to be scared to see what they do look like. So let's take a look. So as we move on, we have the next rare. So we have Galta and Marvin. So what we have here is there's what they call team ups in this set where because the multiverse is trying to fight off Phyrexia, it's one common enemy. So before where sets would have 2 things against each other, it's like the dinosaurs were fighting the vampires in Ixalan, right? they're now teaming up because they are fighting a common enemy. So we'll have all these team up cards where two characters will be together on one card and give you multiple effects. So like this one, which is Galter Mauve, and 2 white, 2 green, 3 colors for a 12/12, has trample. When it attacks, you can create a tapped and attacking excess green dinosaur token with trample, where X is greatest power among creatures you control. So if this thing's swinging, you got a 12/12 trampler swinging with it. That's insane. Or create X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is the number of attacking creatures you have. Doesn't seem as powerful, but still a thing. And as you can see with this one, we have the basic, the two types of basic cards, and then we have the booster fund in the middle. So this is going to be the booster fund because Ixalan didn't have booster fund per se, so they made their own version of it, and this is apparently what it looks like. So moving on. Oh, this is getting crazy. So next we have Chandra, Hope's Beacon. So Chandra is the hope that we still can win. So with her Planeswalker as a mythic 2 red 4 colorless, whenever you cast instant or sorcery spell, copy it, you may choose new targets for the copy. The abilities trigger only once each turn, or this ability. For +2, you can add 2 mana of any combination. +1, exile top 5 cards of the library until in your next turn. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among those exiled cards. Not too shabby. -X deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets. So for 6 mana, you could literally kill her and deal 5 damage to 2 different targets. Not divided, the same amount. This is going to be a powerful Planeswalker for red, but we're going to have to see that casting cost is going to be a little stiff. So, moving on, next we have Thalia and the Gitrog monster. That's right, Thalia is riding the frog. I'm sure there's some kind of innuendo in there. Anyway, it's a green, black, white, and 1 for a 4/4. This reminds me of the Siege Rhino. I mean, legendary creature. Luckily, it's legendary. It has first strike, death touch. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Creature and non-basic lands your opponent controls enter the battlefield's tap. And whenever Thalia and the Gitrog monster attack, sacrifice a creature or land, then draw a card. This is an insane Magic card that has no flavor text because they barely fit all the stuff it does on one card anyway. This is just nuts. Abzan, if you guys don't remember, is the white, green, blue faction from Khans, is going to be huge, I think, in this format because this card just looks really strong. Alright, so moving on. Next we have Yargle and Multani. That's right. We have nothing but the bland versus the bland. It's a Frog Spirit Elemental for a green, 2 black, and 3 for an 18/6. Sweet mother of God. Flavor text, I love it. I've heard so much about you from my daughter. Multani mumbled. There was a time I'd balk at your aid, Phantom, but she has shown me the merit in Urbor's strange ways. And of course, Yargle replies with, love it. Alright, moving on. Next team up, that's right, Drana and Limvala. Holding hands, kicking ass, and taking names. Black, 2 white, and 1 for a 3/4 flying vigilance angel vampire with activated abilities of creatures your opponent controls can't be activated. And it has all activated abilities of all creatures your opponents control. You may spend mana as though it was mana of any color to activate those abilities. This thing is nuts. Yeah, I don't know what to say. This thing's just absurd. Like most of these cards, since we're teaming up with lots of people, let's go back to solos. So now we have Phyrexian Praetors that become sagas. That's right. We have Jin-Kataxis. He's 2 blue and 3 for a 5/5. Right on rate. He has Ward 2 to protect himself. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, mana value 3 or greater, draw a card. Already amazing as a mythic. But for a blue and 3, you can exile him, return to the battlefield transformed. You have to do it as a sorcery and only if you have 7 cards in your hand. But if you do that, he then becomes a saga. It doesn't have read ahead, but at first it says draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no max hand size, which means if you get to 7, you pay 4 for this guy, you're going to have 14 and not have to discard. As long as you control the Great Synthesis. So it's going to give you 3 turns before this thing goes away to empty your hand. Then return all non-Phyrexian creatures to their owner's hands. Seems pretty sweet. Finally, you may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Exile the Great Synthesis. Then return to the battlefield face up. So basically, you're going to get to draw up 7 cards. Keep them in your hand if you got big ones. Bounce everything on the board. 3, it exiles, comes back in as Jin Cataxius, where you may then play everything in your hand for free. So since you can do that, you can then spend 4 mana again to flip Jin back over to the Great Synthesis. This is incredible. It's going to be good in Standard. This is going to be an amazing Commander card. I hear you guys drooling in the background now. Holy cow, are we getting out of hand here. And moving on, next we have Breach the Multiverse. 2 black and 5 sorcery. Each player mills 10 cards. For each player, choose a creature or planeswalker card in that player's graveyard. Put those cards on the battlefield under your control. Then, each creature you control becomes a Phyrexian in addition to other types. This is absurd for Commander. Probably not going to be that great, playing one-on-one or whatever, but you're in a Commander game with 4 people, and you mill basically 40 cards. Notice it doesn't say of those 10. It says in the graveyard. So if the game goes late and the graveyards are stocked, this thing could be absurd. Probably going to be very popular in a Commander game. Next we have Heliod Radiant Dawn. And notice here, this is also another flip card. You have 2 white and 2 for a 4/4 legendary enchantment creature god, which means you don't need any devotion this time. When he enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card that isn't a god from your graveyard to your hand. Great ability. For a blue and 3 colorless or Phyrexian mana, you get to transform him, which turns him into Heliod the Warped Eclipse, which is a legendary Phyrexian god. You may cast spells though they had flash, and spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponent has drawn this turn. Plus, he's a 4/6. He's a little bigger. It has to be done at sorcery speed, but this is an absurd thing. And notice here, it has that kind of, border from that kind of set. Oh my god. I forgot what the set's called. I ain't got time for it. Moving on. Down here, Complete the Faith, Complete the God, Johnny Goldmain. Crazy, just crazy flavor text. Next we have, that's right, Multiverse Legends slot. So, in packs, they didn't say which packs, they just said in packs. I would like to think in every pack, but they probably won't be in draft. If they are, that's even sweeter. There's probably going to be something in set or maybe just collectors. But anyway, wherever the Multiverse Legends slot is, it's going to have Legends cards that are all reprints. The slot's going to be all reprints. This is a bonus sheet. And there's going to be 4 different types of foils on this bonus sheet. There's going to be a regular foil, a foil etched, halo foils, which they're going to show us later supposedly, and serialized cards. And these cards are all going to be reprints. And to give you an example of how expensive, sought after, sweet these cards are going to be, they're looking at cards from across the multiverse to reprint that will join the fight. Now, you can't play these cards in Standard. You can only play them in the formats they're legal in. But still, imagine cracking one of these in a pack. That's right. That's a Ragavan Nimbler Pilfer and a Traxxas Praetor's Voice. And notice this is in the special Kaldheim border, much like Mystical Archive. And I gotta admit, it's very sexy. Ragavan's looking sweet. A Traxxas Praetor's Voice. This is in the border of the Streets of New Capenna, which this may be what the Angel Halo foil looks like maybe. I don't know. But these are going to be insane. These are the only 2 they previewed. These alone, if there was nothing else, makes this slot very tempting. So that's some insane news already. We still got plenty more to go, so let's keep going. With that, next we have pre-release promos. This time, just for going to the pre-release, you're going to have the ability to get one of these things. You're going to have an Eternal Witness, Old Border Shooting Star, 2004, a Portugal Court of Calling for some reason. Hopefully the ones we get's in English, but I mean, whatever, I guess. And also Niv Mizzet the Firemind, all in Old Border Shooting Star foil, you name it. These are pretty sweet. You're going to have the ability to get these at pre-release. I'm sure more details will come about that. And they're probably just going to be participation just for showing up. And that's insanely cool. All right. So, with that said, now let's move on to Secret Lair. They announced one Secret Lair. They said that because the Phyrexians are reaching out across the multiverse, nothing is safe, not even Secret Lair. So, here's a Secret Lair based off of Phyrexia. That's right. You take a look at this crazy thing. We've got Wheel and Deal. Any number of target opponents each discard their hands, then draw 7 cards, draw a card, a blue and 3. It's in Streets of New Capenna format. We have a sweet looking Questing Beast. We have a pretty cool looking Olivia Voldaren. We have a new Walking Ballista in the old Kaladesh Hidden Treasure style. And we have the World Tree in the old Kaldheim Booster Fund style. So every card is in the style of where it's from, which is pretty sweet. I'm going to assume this is going to be like a $40 Secret Lair. 40 or 30. If it is, it's going to be a pretty good value. It's probably right on par. These cards aren't real expensive, but it is kind of cool if this is what you're into. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Next, we have the big one. We have Commander. So what are we doing for Commander this year? Well, first off, for Commander in this set, we get 5 different Commanders. It looks like we got a black-white, a black-blue-white, a white-green-red, a red-blue-green, and a white-blue-green. Divine Convocation, Thinker Tithe. Can't really read them all because my picture's blurry. Sorry about that. But if you look at this picture really close, there's something even sweeter about these cards. 3 of these sets are going to have, guess what? Plane Chase in them. That's right. They've made 3 new Plane Chase cards, which will come with these decks, which is amazing. And here they are. First off, we have Tashawani from Kamigawa Plane. Modify creatures you control have trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, draw a card. Amazing. Whenever chaos ensues, distribute 3 counters among them, 2 or 3 creatures you control. We have the Isle of Asuva, Dominaria. Whenever a non-token creature enters a battlefield, its controller creates a token copy. Chaos, destroy target creature and all creatures with the same name. Spatial Merging, Phenomenon. When you encounter Spatial Merging, reveal cards from the top of your planar deck until you reveal 2 playing cards. Simultaneously planeswalk to both of them. Put all other cards revealed this way on the bottom of the planar deck. So we finally get some new cards for Plane Chase. It's kind of cool. We'll bring Plane Chase back. It was a fun concept. People don't use it a lot, but it is cool, and I think we should, at least bring them out. Because in Commander, if you're going to play competitive or whatever, you don't have to use these things. But for those who want to and it's a fun side thing, it's really cool. So it's really nice we get to see this come back. So now we get a couple Commander leaks. We got Kalda and Lear. If you believe that or not. Blue, white, and green for a 3/3. Whenever you cast a human spell, target instant sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback in a turn. The flashback cost equal to the mana cost. Basically, this is a Snapcaster Mage. Makes every human a Snapcaster Mage. That is insane. That is so good for Commander. It's crazy. And the best thing about this is it gives you the old. They went with the Midnight Hunt Crimson Vow border, which is awesome looking, especially when you see Lear and her. Looks really good together. I like this picture as well. It's going to be a sweet card and a sweet Commander. All right, so the next Commander card we have Goro and Saturo. So we have the regular and we have the neon Incus style, I guess. So for a red, blue, and a black, whenever one or more creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn deal combat damage to a player, create a 5/5 Dragon Spirit creature token. For red and 1, creatures you control gain haste. So it's kind of a merging of ninjutsu plus gaining dragons. Pretty sweet, not gonna lie. I see lots of potential for this, especially a 3 mana 3/4. That gives everything haste. Alright, so moving on. Next we have Slimefoot and Squee, the ultimate tag team. Green, red, and black for a 3/3. Whenever Slimefoot and Squee enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 green saproling creature token for a green, red, black, and 1. You can sacrifice a Sapperling, return Slimefoot and Squee, and up to one other target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. What's cool about this is I wonder, if that's a thing for the graveyard, this is great for a Sapperling deck because it means that your commander can always go to the graveyard and then always come back. That's going to be crazy, and I'm sure it can be very abused. All right, so next we have, that's right, an Aftermath week. And brace yourself because this says a lot. So, the one Aftermath card we got was the Kinrith Royal Funeral. That's right, the Kinrith is dead. The king is dead, long live the king, right? So who's the next one? Okay, so so this one is a black, white, and 2 legendary enchantment. When the Kinder's Royal Funeral enters the battlefield, exile the 2 target legendary creature cards from your graveyard. Draw X cards, you lose X life, where X is the greatest mana value among those exiled cards. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card exiled with the Kinrith Royal Funeral. So that could easily be 2. This may stack if you lay more than 1. This seems pretty sweet and kind of incredible. And as you can see, we've got our symbol for Aftermath. Now, what else could we have? Well, first off, let's talk about a little important dates. So, I talked about March 16th through 27th. We're going to have the story. I can't wait to hear the story on this with all the merging and team ups and everything that's going on. It looks awesome. 29th, we have set debut, cinematic trailer, and the previews will begin on March 29th. Woohoo, just a month and a half away. Card previews will last from 29th to April 4th. April 5th, the complete card image will be available, obviously. April 14th to 20th, in-store pre-release events will happen. Schedule some time to head them up because those promo cards are sweet. April 18th, Magic the Gathering Arena and Magic Online digital release. The 21st of April, global tabletop release. 21st to 23 is in-store launch party events. Oh, man. It's been 22 minutes already, and we are still going. Got one more thing to tell you, I do believe. And I lied. Thanks for staying. No, I was joking. So, that is it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. This is all the information we got from the Pro Tour. It's pretty sweet. I'm sure it's going to start flooding the market with all kinds of new information coming up. Tell me what you think down below. I'm excited. I'm stoked. I can't wait for the new set. And this is going to be insane. Ragavans, serialized cards, 3 different kinds of special foils. They're going all out to sell this set. The only drawback that I see is there's going to be so many variants. It's going to be so hard to collect. But there is a lot of it. I do like serialized cards, special foils. I do dig that. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Check out links in the description to help support the channel at the eBay store and Patreon, or just sub up. That's all you need to do to try and get to 1,000 peeps. I do appreciate it. Stay tuned for more box opening videos. I've got them queued up for a while. And until next time, be kind, and hope to see you across from the game table. Hopefully, doing a march.